though.
We will discuss. Oh, Mr. Scaramucci, please.
Pillow guy.
The My Pillow guy, Mike Landau.
Mike Landau.
He's a very successful, great story.
Hi, I'm Dave. How are you?
That's Dave.
He's basically
Anthony.
a heroin addict.
Anthony. Yeah. He was like a crack addict.
I wouldn't touch them.
Could be.
No.
Could be the Corona. Yeah, Mike's an inspirational story. He really did have an amazingly hard
Crackhead.
time, and then who thought you could reinvent a pillow? Thought that was pretty much done with in 1805, and then he did it. So good for him.
When feathers
Anthony.
to cotton.
You're here, yes, but Anthony, you are here. I've seen you a couple of times. I saw you at Yankee game.
Yeah.
You were down at the. You were in the Legends section having dinner.
Capo, who were we with?
I'm not sure. You were holding court.
I was holding
Some
court.
people at one of the tables in the Legends dining before the game.
Was it the Legends? I was with Omar Minaya, probably.
Could have been,
Sitting there with him, yeah.
Yeah. It's a great place.
So you're the legendary Anthony from Opie and Anthony?
From the Opie and Anthony
You're
show.
the one having sex in the St. Patrick's?
I wasn't having the sex. We directed people to have sex in the church
Orchestrated the sex.
as a gag.
Yes.
And, had that go. Got us fired. But then we got Sirius
doing
XM
pretty well.
radio.
Oh, he's doing fine.
And now things are, things are nice. I work 3 days a week. I don't care. It's
What happened to the other guy?
the Opster,
Yeah.
Opie. We kind of had a falling out toward the end there, and he now makes shows in his apartment by his phone, and we don't see anything of him anymore.
All the rock and roll bands do that to each other, unfortunately, you know? Fucking
Yeah, they
Courtney
become,
and Lennon.
all of
The
us.
Everybody's
Stones.
nuts.
Stones, though.
The Stones, they know how to stick
No, they
together.
fucking hate each other, the Stones. You didn't
They
read
do.
Keith Richards'?
Oh, yeah, they hate each other.
They know how to hang out together.
hang
Their
out.
money.
Yeah.
Love their
That's why Guns N' Roses came back.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
Let me tell you what the greatest duo that can't stand each other and have been unbelievably successful, Matt and Trey from South Park.
Oh, is that right?
Matt and Trey cannot stand each other. They don't do anything
true?
together.
I didn't know
They
that.
don't go out. They don't hang out. They go into work. Boom. They do their, and that's it.
Pretty cool.
But I mean, how many years of success?
Is that true?
Yeah,
I thought
they
it was,
can't
I
stand
didn't
each
know
other.
that. Okay.
Not stand
I
each
was
other.
thinking
Most
Simon and
people-
Garfunkel.
Yeah.
They can't stand each other. Most guys that are in it together, and it's no offense to you guys, I'm sure you think you're right and he thinks he's right, all this stuff, but what
Yeah.
happens is the egos get in. And then there's
sometimes
like
that happens.
Then a grenade goes off.
Happened with you and Trump, right?
No, it's totally different with me and Trump because I wasn't a peer of his. I wasn't. You guys were like John Lennon and Paul McCartney.
Right.
I was just somebody working for him. Once he went after my wife, then I'm fucking gonna knock him into next week.
What happened
you
there?
can't
I mean,
go-
honestly, what happened?
Just simply, you. I'm out there defending him. Are we on the air now? Because
Yeah, we're on
the air, yeah.
So you can't. 25 out of 26. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. If you're defending him 25 out of 26 times, on the one time that you don't defend him, after $1 million personally to his campaign, his inauguration, his transition team, I'm raising money for his transition team, and no one thinks he's going to win after the Access Hollywood tape in my restaurant. And you're out there, you get fired. I made a mistake. I never blamed anybody else for me getting fired. You attack me on Twitter because I disagree with you on one issue.
What was that issue?
That was the 4 congresswomen.
Okay.
You know, my attitude with the 4 congresswomen is I don't like their policies. Let's debate them in the international marketplace of ideas. Let's bring them on your show, and let's prove to the American people that they're wrong about policy, they're wrong about anti-Semitism, they're wrong about these things. But they were all born here in the United States. He's tweeting out, go back to the countries that you originally came from. I'm on a Bill Maher show. The woman turns to me, well, you defended him on this, you defended him on that. Well, how do you feel about those things? Well, you know what? I'm an Italian American. My grandmother was told to go back to the country that she came from. It's a sensitive spot for me. I'm not going to disavow my personal integrity or my family's history to defend that. So I cannot defend that. I wish he would not say that. So the next day he goes after me. Okay, no problem. I'm a public figure. Then he goes after my wife. She's a suburban housewife out on Long Island raising 2 kids. He knows her and I were in a fight over him. We were almost divorced over him. And so he knows that, so he's going after my wife. I am not Ted Cruz. Do I look like fucking Ted Cruz to you?
No, you're not.
With a beard.
Curse on this thing, right?
You're not on the other side of a wall.
I'm not Ted Cruz. So we're going to beat him.
Now, let me ask you
So let me
something.
tell you what's going to happen, okay?
Okay.
Biden will likely get the nomination. Okay, Bloomberg will put $1 billion. Bloomberg will put $1 billion behind him. I will be in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. We've identified 71 white ethnic areas, and I will campaign. He's a bully. He's an ingrate. He's destroying the institutions of the American democracy.
I cannot agree with that.
Okay, good. So let's have the debate.
I believe, here's what I think. It sounds to me like something personal, a personal problem. When he goes after your wife, no, I understand that.
Personal.
He goes after your wife, of course that's
Where's
personal.
the fucking camera? Let me look
But
at
you don't think it's, you know.
1,000%. I'm fucking Italian from Long Island.
But you don't think it's a cut off your nose to spite your face thing to campaign against a guy that,
the fuck out of
for the past 3 or so years, it hasn't been bad. It's been pretty goddamn good.
You're underperforming every economic metric to the Obama administration.
Oh, please.
Including the stock market.
That is...
And you better back it up. The job numbers are below the Obama trend line. The GDP growth is below the Obama trend line. You layered $2 trillion
would be based on what Obama did before when he was really in the shitter when he came into office as far as the
I'm
unemployment
talking about
rate
the
goes.
last 3 years.
And then building it up.
Just comparing it to the last 3 years.
Was trending upward, but
first 3
it's
years
nothing like the success and even the attitude of Americans right now.
Trump Kool-Aid drinker?
I'm not.
He likes
I'll be
Trump.
Where's the big fat guy? Is he going to blow
not-
through the door here?
I'm
with
not the
fucking-
Trump Kool-Aid drinker. I know through my
Pass the
experience.
orange Kool-Aid, okay?
Through my
Where's
experience,
the fat guy coming through?
E-Rock is
people
a
I
person.
talk to
Picture the guy, you know.
in this country, other people I
Yes, the
talk to,
Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
they are doing better. They're doing better.
Okay.
And I would
So-
see voting against that
So-
because the guy said some shit about you and your family.
And I would say
Not allowed to
going.
do that. Not allowed to do that.
I get not
Not
saying
after I
anything
gave
about you.
him $1 million.
It's personal. That's fine. But
Yeah,
again,
it's personal. It's
but
totally
again, it
personal.
sounds like
But it's more than personal.
you want
It's a-
Bloomberg.
I'm 100. Look, I'm
I
100%
would
that
take
he can.
Bloomberg.
You would take Bloomberg?
I would take Biden over this guy.
Biden? You don't look at Biden and think,
Totally.
you know, and
Dementia.
this is a guy that hung out
It's
with
not
Trump.
all there, right?
Oh, Trump is putting sentences together, and he looks normal to me. Okay, he cost
But
you
I mean, Biden?
$1 trillion in the stock market. Now you got to have a coordinated central banking move, 50 basis point cut, and you have to have a whole reorganization of the global central banking system because of his last two press conferences. And you're saying Biden's got dementia? I mean, this guy can't even put two sentences together. And when he puts the two sentences together, it's a lie. He's into his 18,000 lie, Aunt.
18,000
told
lies
18,000
is
lies.
told by who? First of all, the lies
do you
also
mean it's told
are
by who?
complete
The
misinterpretations.
control room is laughing.
Complete misinterpretations of what he said.
are you
And by the
talking
way,
about? Just
the
go
thing you
through the
even talked
facts.
about. Wait,
They're
the
just
thing you even
laughing at
talked
my
about.
discomfort.
Hold on. The
ahead.
thing you even just talked about with go back to your own country. That wasn't what he said. He said go back to where, you came from and fix that and then come back and tell us what happened.
look at
So
the tweet.
he don't mean
The
go back where you came.
countries-
It's not the same thing saying
He said,
go back where you
to
came
the
from.
countries you originally came from. The countries. Go look
I think
at
he
the
meant
tweet.
the ideology.
Obviously, he
though.
means your heritage, your country.
So this is a beautiful thing that he's done because you seem like a very, very smart guy. I
try.
And he has done an amazing job of cultifying about 40-ish% of the
You
population.
think it's cultifying?
Yeah, sure, you're doing what Scott Adams does and Sean does. You guys are in the mental gymnastics and the verbal figure skating business where you're going to try to curve the stuff that the guy actually said and who he actually is and what he actually
Then
does.
you believe, okay,
fine.
then you
Why did
believe
he
he
do that?
actually said that Nazis are good people. Do you believe that? That's been spread around by the news
no, he didn't
ad
say
nauseum, and he never said it.
No, he didn't say that.
Okay,
He didn't say
well,
that. But
well,
what
then
he
who's
did-
twisting
let me-
things around?
Let me finish.
All right.
What he did say, because we can pull up the tape if you want to put it up on a phone, he said there are very fine people on both sides.
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Because I know the personality, okay? He did that to drop a bomb. And then he always leaves, because he's a genius communicator, he always leaves enough room in the
Plausible
bomb
deniability.
area for the interpretation. So
Right.
Sean Hannity can interpret it one way, the KKK can interpret it another way, the left-wing loons can interpret it a third way. That's what Trump does. He's a classic Gemini.
I see that, but
But he did say that. He didn't say
He-
Nazis were great people, but he said there were very fine people
on both sides. But he meant the people that had nothing to do with the far left nuts or the Nazis that were there.
Your interpretation.
No, it's really the only interpretation you could come up with there. He said there were people there that wanted to demonstrate to have statues taken down, and other people that wanted
the Nazis.
What's that?
Did he denounce the Nazis?
Many times.
Okay.
During that exact press conference where he was talking about that, he denounced Nazis.
All right, that's 3 years ago. I
know, but
I hear you.
But it's been happening for 3 years. Still, the left-wing media.
You're okay with the phone calls of Zelensky and let's hold back the money?
Yeah, I don't see.
Got 40.
I saw him
40 different witness testimonies and 40 different.
40 different witnesses that had all third-hand information. I didn't hear one person say.
Wouldn't let any of the first-hand people go.
Oh, who? The whistleblower was the only first-hand person there, and we couldn't talk to him.
Mulvaney had primary sources. Pompeo had primary source.
Where? How is he a primary source?
He was right there with all the action. He was on the phone call. Pompeo.
Well, so was the whistleblower. Why didn't we hear from him?
Okay, well, you see, this is the fun. I didn't realize you were like a right-wing lunatic. All right, so
I'm not. See, that's how I get. That's how you perceive me because I'm making a reasonable argument.
Well, of course, you would not hear from the whistleblower because the whistleblower, pursuant to the Whistleblower Federal Protection Act, operated
he didn't even fit under those guidelines. It's such crap.
Are you watching Rush during the day?
No, I haven't listened to Rush in decades, quite frankly.
Okay.
I haven't listened to Rush in decades.
The guy broke the law. The GOA said that he broke the law. I don't even care. I didn't think he was going to get impeached on that. I took myself off the air over that. I said he deserves to be impeached, but he's not going to get impeached because he's got all of these cowards lined up for him, like all these sycophants, and a couple tweets from him. They get all scared like fraidy cats, okay? So that's all fine. We're going to beat the guy. Okay, and so let's see what happens in November. But
I say good luck because people are pretty happy.
So what else you want to talk about?
I have an honest question. I just have an honest question.
People are not that happy, by the way.
But you're talking about like.
And by the way, the economic data in the middle part of the country, there's been no wage growth in the middle part of the country. There's no. I'm talking about middle meaning the middle class. I'm not talking about middle America. The middle class, no wage growth. There's been small amounts of wage growth at the bottom, but this stuff that they're doing now is going to make the situation worse. Janet Yellen and Ben Bernanke created Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. Because what they did was they propped up the market. Everybody that had assets benefited from the low interest rate policies. The blue collar people that don't have assets but they have savings, they got crushed. They had a 5, 6, 7% CD at their local community bank that they're earning 90 basis points on. But the people that own these buildings, the buildings shot up to the sky in value, and the rest of those people are angry about it. And now you have nationalism and populism, and they doubled down again on it this morning, which is why the market is up so high.
Okay. All right. I might give you some of that. There's really nowhere else to put your money right now as far as the market. And what are you going to do? Like earn a percent on your money?
Yeah, the savings account doesn't really work.
And there's confidence. You know something? A president also has to breed confidence. He has to have, there has to be the people that are confident.
Breeding confidence?
Yes. The way he's handled.
The first press conference on the coronavirus, you were like, okay, this is going great for the guy?
Probably could have done better.
Okay.
But
at least
I don't see like you're. I don't see that he's running around.
That was a $2 trillion press conference.
I don't see that he's running around causing problems. He's got the right people doing the right jobs to try to quell this thing here in the United States and get some kind of an answer worldwide as far as fighting it. But this is nothing. I think, again, whenever he does anything, the media, the propaganda arm, gets out there and just shits on every single thing he's done. There's not one thing in 3 years. If he was as bad as the left puts him out to be in 3 years, we should all be out on the streets eating out of garbage cans. There's nobody that bad out there.
No, I know. It would also be the Klan is everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we've almost gotten that.
I'm a balanced guy. I don't think every single thing that he's done is bad, but he is a systemic threat to the institutions of our democracy. There's no question about that.
And Bernie wouldn't be?
Is anybody in politics?
Biden wouldn't be.
No, Biden wouldn't be. No, Biden is an institutionalist.
Biden's losing his mind as we watch him.
Trump isn't.
And no,
what's funny
Trump's
about this
the same
race?
Trump he's been since he got into office.
Yeah, Trump lost his mind before, but Bernie is slowly degenerating.
You know what's funny about this race? We're talking about change in America and growth and opportunity, and I think the youngest male in the race is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
And the rest of them
about
are,
to turn 74.
I heard
Whatever.
something
I think
before
the
that,
guy. I think the guy sucks.
obviously.
I don't like the way he treats
yeah.
people.
That's fine.
Last Friday, I went to visit Michael Cohen, who is a friend of mine. Okay, I think he totally screwed Michael Cohen. We can go into that if you want.
Michael didn't exactly come to his aid. Michael turned in a second.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. The point.
Doesn't matter. He still ended up in jail.
The point being is that he's asymmetrically loyal, and he'll turn on everybody, and he'll eventually turn on the country. And by the way, if you're not in the Trump purity test, where every syllable that comes out of your mouth is in perfect sequence in support of him, he'll turn on you. I was on Jesse Waters' show. He won't invite me on anymore because I want to debate. And I said, okay, tell me one thing, to use your line about the left. Tell me one thing he's done right. I turned to Jesse. Tell me one thing he's done wrong. He's a human being. He's done absolutely nothing wrong in the last 3 years of his administration. And he couldn't get one word out because he can't look into that camera and say something he's done wrong because he knows, one, Trump will start attacking him on Twitter, and Trump will start attacking his wife or fiance on Twitter, and he's got the people locked into this Gordian cultish knot. And I don't like it. It's very un-American. And by the way, you shouldn't be bullying your private citizens from the presidential Twitter feed. You're going after my wife, who's a suburban housewife on Long Island with 2 kids, from the 150 million social media following presidential Twitter feed.
Yeah, there are
It's a shitty thing.
There are
Who the fuck do
plenty
you
of
think you
things.
are?
Right.
Okay, you think it's shitty?
It
I
is
don't
a
know
shitty thing to
one
do. It just-
knuckle-dragging MAGA person with the red hat that says to me, no, Anthony, that was a very good thing. Let me justify to you why he should be able to do that.
No,
don't know
of
anybody.
course
Of
not.
course he
That-
should be
Whatever,
able
whatever.
to.
We'll
Look,
have the
there are-
conversation if you want, but
No, I get it. There are things
be
that
there.
he has done that
he's alienated. He's alienated so many people.
How do you
in
see
so
it as
many sectors
cultish,
of
though, if it's
society.
50% of the population? That just
No, it's
isn't
not 50,
cultish.
though.
40?
It's between 38 and 40, but
That's astounding numbers to be
so let me
cultish.
let me ask you a question. What was Adolf Hitler's approval rating in April of 1945?
In this room?
65. 65.
I can only vouch since 61.
Okay, so
April of 61, I could vouch for.
19
Well, I would say roughly
1945.
100%, but I mean, we're talking about a
Oh, he had
dictatorship, really, at that
39%.
point,
No,
aren't we?
Cult leaders study cults and demagoguery. They can get a hardcore 35, 40%. And they can get people permanently fixed and locked in.
Then would you
Done a
say
very,
that
very good job
Obama
of
had
that.
a cult-like following?
Obama had a different type of style to him. He didn't do the bullying that Trump is doing, which fits the cult and fascist test.
No, he was the first
Didn't
of
do
his
that.
kind. He wasn't.
Didn't do
He
that.
didn't have to.
You didn't like Obama, Anthony. He wasn't out there tweeting about you personally. He wasn't attacking you as an individual citizen of the United States.
Felt he was
wasn't
pummeling me as a taxpayer.
He wasn't punching down.
Felt
at you.
like he was
Yeah, but that was
nailing
more,
me
that
as
was
a
more.
fucking-
That was more anonymous.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to say that he doesn't definitely hold the grace of other
Is he
presidents.
like the normal person in the room? He's like the bubble
Yeah. I'm
balance.
I'm sort
like-
of.
Is that what your job
I'm
is?
sort of in the middle. I just kind of listen to both
Balanced
sides,
guy.
but I don't hate
Are you a
Trump.
Libra or something like that? When's your birthday?
No, I'm a Gemini.
Oh, yeah,
right in the
yeah,
middle.
Two brains. in
I
one
like
body.
to just listen to both sides, and I'm not much of a shit stir, but I can understand by having a wife. Yes, I understand getting her attacked would give you a permanent, you know.
I would have liked it if
Yeah.
someone attacked my
Well,
wife.
you would have,
Well,
yes.
you don't like your
in the
wife.
day.
It would depend on the
It's all
day.
good.
I haven't seen her in
I
years.
happen to love my wife. He hasn't seen her. Let me tell you something.
great.
Don't attack my wife on Twitter.
Of course not.
Well, you shouldn't do that, obviously.
Yeah, okay, so no problem.
But I'm saying that would give you a personal
I-
vendetta to hate him forever.
Personal vendetta.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. We'll see what happens. If he wins, God bless him. I've got a good day job. But if he loses, I'm going to have a lot of fun on election night.
I
My
don't
honest
know.
question, though, is why do you think Michigan? And I just say
This is a
this.
disaster for Trump right now.
Whole schmoles. We've seen this before. We've
lot-
seen this before.
But they've changed the polls from 2016.
No damn well Trump
Made an adjustment. What were we going to say?
Trump supporters do not want to participate in what they see as the most bullshit fake media we've ever had. They're not going to participate in their polls. And they do, they sample areas that are so off of people that actually like Trump. And you could see, if you read the fine
What
print.
about the Rasmussen poll? The
Sample-
president always puts that one up on
Again,
his Twitter
still,
feed.
not a lot of Trump supporters want to participate in a bullshit a fiasco like the mainstream media these days.
Okay.
Just doesn't happen. I don't put any credence in polls these days.
What were we going to say?
Oh, why do you think you're going to win Michigan? And I'm just saying this because I'm from there and I'm from Detroit and I know the opinion
So
of a lot of people.
my family's from Ferndale.
Okay.
I would say that Michael Moore has a better read on this than me, and you probably have a better read on this than me.
Michael Moore's full of shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't have a hard read on Michigan.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering.
I think that Pennsylvania.
I'm just saying he's an
Wisconsin,
opportunist for himself. He's not really.
Okay, I
he
don't
doesn't really
know
have a
the
grasp on anything.
I don't even
but
know the guy. I'm saying what he is saying.
Cupcakes in him.
He's saying Trump's going to win Michigan. Believe me, I don't think he wants Trump to win Michigan. So I'm saying to you, even though I have family members in Ferndale,
It's much more liberal there. Yeah, obviously.
okay, but I sort of think Trump is going to win Michigan. Okay, that's my opinion.
That's what I'm just curious. Okay.
But I think that he's going to lose Wisconsin and Pennsylvania.
How do you
I
lose
also
Pennsylvania
think,
when everyone else is shitting on the coal industry?
That's what I mean. Like, if you
It's
think
amazing.
I
That's
guess
how Hillary lost Pennsylvania.
That's more my question. Yeah,
Okay,
like
let's
the
see.
juxtaposition between the two. It's kind of the same idea. You have
Pennsylvania
these
is a very
these minor
unique
towns,
state.
essentially.
It is, but
my family's from the northeastern side of that state. It is a mining area there.
you could talk all you want about alternative energy, and we need to do this and need to do this. Coal comes out of that state, and if you shit on coal, like Hillary said, I'm
hear
going to
you.
kill the coal industry. And Biden just said it. Biden said it a few weeks
believe
ago.
she also said the steel
something about the
industry.
coal industry. Yeah, the steel industry. How about the beer industry and everything else? What the fuck?
He's 9 points down right now, and you're saying the polls don't matter.
All right,
So he's 9 points down right now to Joe Biden in Pennsylvania. You're saying the polls don't matter. I'm saying
they're very inaccurate.
I'm saying that they have to offer some guide that's outside of the standard deviation.
Right up
Let's see
until
what
election
happens.
night, Hillary was
know what-
running away with this whole thing.
You know, it'd be a lot of fun. And by the way, we thought that, and I was on the campaign, and we definitely thought that. But you know what's going to be a lot of fun? Is going into those areas and talking about him. That's going to be a lot of fun for me, yeah.
All right.
Because those are white ethnic areas. Those are people that I grew up with. And at the end of the day, he is not the answer to the future of conservatism. He is not that.
Well,
he's
no
not
one
that
on the
person.
Democratic side is either.
There's nothing
Not even
transformative
close.
about the guy. And you don't want a guy who's that big of a bully and that big of a garish deconstructor of American.
If you feel that he's working
By the way,
for you, you want to.
I'm never going to win the two of you guys over. That's totally fine. But let me tell you something. He's alienated so many people, and he's created so much fervor. He's got the reverse going on right now. Right now, Trump had in 2016, I'm not voting for Hillary. I'm a Democrat. I'm either just not showing up or I'm going to flip and vote for Trump. And there was a fervor behind him. He got 46% of the popular vote last time. Won the election, lost the popular vote by 3.5 million. This time, I think, is a totally opposite thing going on.
I don't know if,
We'll have to see.
I'll say this: if the Democrats had anyone that was at least in the middle somewhere, they'd probably run away with this fucking thing. I think that's safe to say. But every candidate is either a mental patient, so far to the left, like the Democratic Socialist. I love how you put that. Is there something as a
Bloomberg's
Democratic
that far to
Nazi?
the left?
Is there a Democratic Nazi? Because that's a nice Nazi, I think. It's no one wants socialism.
I agree with that.
You get
Let me stipulate
East
this.
Coast, West Coast.
Bernie
hippies.
Sanders does get that nomination, which I predict he will not. But let
Well.
me stipulate this. If he does get that nomination, Trump will slay him 40, 45 states.
That's all you need. Right. Okay.
So we're off
But
that
I'm
one's
saying-
off the table.
I'm just saying, hey, but he's the
Bloomberg is
guy.
a radical Nazi. I mean, socialist Nazi.
No, Bloomberg isn't a socialist Nazi, but Bloomberg is an authoritarian, way worse than Trump. Trump, even Trump was able to sit down and think twice about the vaping thing. He'll change his mind on things when people start talking to him. Bloomberg, get your sugary drinks away. Guns, if you like the Second Amendment,
didn't see it that way.
you like the Second Amendment, don't even think about Bloomberg.
Let's talk about the drinks for 30 seconds, okay?
Yeah.
Because we're all getting fat. And one of the reasons why we're getting fat,
Please. No, it's true. I'm very
okay,
fat.
because of the way we're ingesting all this sugar.
It's not the government's job. Just
no,
not the government's
no,
job.
come on, the
Stay out of
government-
our shit.
But isn't
Make sure the roads are good. Make sure there's
tell you something.
But
I gotta tell you something.
leave
If
us
you got a
alone.
can of soda and you've got 140% of the daily requirement necessary for carbohydrates in the can of soda, the government should put that on the label or shouldn't?
Yeah, you should know
Okay,
what you're
so the
putting in your
food-
own body.
So go look at the documentary Sugar. It's
a lot different than restriction.
Obama tried to put it on the label. They went and slaughtered him in the midterms in 2010, and he blinked on that. And go look at that can of Coke. It tells you the grams of carbohydrates, but it doesn't tell you that percentage daily allowance. The sugar lobby and the food lobby has bullied the shit out of the regulators in that government.
I'm all for information.
I think it's
just not
so
for
all Mike's saying.
restrictions.
All Mike is saying, you can have 100 sodas, but let's do them at 16 ounces at a time.
Yeah,
I don't.
isn't that great when you're at a concert or something and you got to go up 20 flights of stairs and buy something and then come back down to the seat and then buy it again in little shot cups.
There's a certain responsibility.
Oh my God.
There's a responsibility that the people have to have. We are free in this country. We're free to make bad decisions.
What I love about my life, I just walk into shit. You know, I didn't know this was like right-wing radio.
I'm not right-wing radio.
Can you turn
Oh
the
my
buzz?
God.
Can you turn the buzzsaw off?
Anthony,
Okay.
I've literally performed an abortion on this table.
Can you shut
right wing?
Can you shut the skinhead?
Girl also
shut
died.
The skinhead buzzer.
Oh my God.
That goddamn skinhead haircut buzzer is going off in my ear. Can you shut it off, please?
That's what people think.
Guys,
Like,
turn off that tattoo machine over there, okay? And remove those graphics.
the second you say anything,
Fuck.
Like that swastika flag's not coming.
anything
down, friend.
pro-Trump,
Jesus
and all of a
Christ.
sudden you're a Nazi. How did you
say you
fall
were
into
not-
that?
I didn't realize you
in
were
there.
right-wing.
You were right in the fold. You were in there with him, and now he's a piece of shit.
He's disloyal. He's a disloyal guy. He is an asymmetrically loyal guy, and he turns on people.
As long as he's
Job of
loyal
that.
to making the country a better place,
Okay,
I
so
don't give
you're-
a shit.
Yeah,
He hasn't
until-
fucked me
until
over
it-
yet
yeah,
personally.
Until
I
it
get
happens to you.
We did call
get
it.
it.
That's the whole thing, right? It didn't happen to me, so it's okay
I
until
don't
it
think
happens
Trump's
to
going to go around at 350 some odd million and insult their wives.
What you do?
It's going to
What
happen.
you do? Let me load up some tweets for you
Yeah.
on the Anthony Cumia Twitter, and I'll make sure that they're
Pump off.
targeted towards him.
Yeah.
And let's see how he starts lighting you up.
Oh, cool.
Okay, let's do that. Okay,
we'll
I'll
do
come
that.
up with like surgically selected tweets.
Look, I have the
and we'll-
pleasure of Donald
we'll-
Trump
He's
calling
actually
me a
not
slob
on
once.
Twitter.
I have the pleasure of him calling me a slob.
It's a jerk off.
And-
by the way, he represents America in a terrible way. He's just
How?
not the. Look at him. Look at the way he acts. Look at the way he talks. Look at the way he talks to people. He called the virus. Thank God he walked it back. He called the virus on Friday night a hoax. That's what he called the virus. Okay. Now, thank God he twisted his words and all that sort of nonsense and said, "Well, I meant it was the Democrats," but no, he called it a hoax. Go look at the tape.
He says shit.
Okay.
He says a lot of dumb shit.
Very unpresidential.
I get
it's very
it.
Stupid.
But as far as
it reflects
I could talk-
poorly on the United
I
States.
could talk about presidents that were
a
extremely
piece-
presidential.
he's
That sucked.
He's a piece
That
of
fucked
shit.
our whole country up
What he is,
for a lot of years.
He is the POS in POTUS. He is a piece of shit. Okay, and you know what? And
I
you know
don't
the good news
care
about me?
about his
I'm going to
attitude.
be working super hard to defeat him. You'll invite me back. If I
course.
lose, you can put me in the dunking station where the
That'll be-
tattoo ink is over there. It's totally fine.
Right.
But if we win,
Yeah.
we kick his ass, which I predict we will, because we will build a very broad-based demographic coalition to
luck.
thump him.
I don't see
when
that
we do it. Okay, when we do it,
Especially not with
you'll invite me back, right? Am I gonna? I mean, you have no food in here either.
Of
You gotta-
course.
What's wrong with you guys?
Of course.
It was like a hot piece of chocolate I
None of
had
these
out there.
bastards eat it.
I mean, what the hell's going on? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Is that
You
a
will
drum
absolutely.
No, it's a right-wing radio station. There's
right
no. There's
wing.
no
But aren't you
food.
right wing?
See what happens.
I'm a conservative.
That would be right
It's
wing.
not a conservative.
Anything more right than anybody wants
is
to
a
call
dem-
themselves is a
Trump-
Nazi.
Trump is a demagogue.
Yeah, the
he's not a,
well,
he's
he's a
not, he's not a
Democrat, became
conservative.
I could again. We could talk about a lot of presidents that have used their attitude, their poor language, their uncouthness. but if things are getting done,
Andrew Jackson.
then I don't care what the guy
Getting
sounds
done.
like.
Go ahead. Tell me the stuff that's getting done.
Again, unemployment all-time lows. The market's up. That's great. The economy is booming. People love that.
So the,
He's got jobs back in this country. Companies have reopened in this country. People seem to enjoy the energy behind that and feel confidence in making a
numbers-
small business, or there's a certain confidence that
what are we
people-
spending on the deficit right now?
I have no fucking idea.
You don't care, right?
Deficit schmeficit.
Don't care. Okay.
I'm sure it's a very important thing to the financiers out there. But if you talk to 99% of this country, they also don't know and don't care. It's a number that spins and spins, and hopefully someday we get it under control. But it doesn't seem to affect people as they're out there buying gas or going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's an issue. I studied the economy for 31 years. Late cycle deficit spending like this usually ends up in some level of a catastrophe. And the economy was slowing prior to the virus. And so you got a lot of issues going on in the economy.
This is what we've heard for 3 years now. The imminent demise of the economy, and it just
never said that.
I'm saying
No,
people.
I never said that. I'm a long-term constructive bull on America and a long-term constructive bull on the economy, but I don't like the lack of control in the government. I guess you're conservative. Maybe you're not conservative, but let me just stipulate this:
I think
you don't want to spend 5% of the GDP of the United States in deficit spending every year. That will come home to hurt you. How does it hurt you? Rich people do just fine. They own buildings. They inflate their way out of the debt, and the price of the building goes up. But the poor people have had a 30% wage decline in the last 30 years as a result of this sort of debt monetization. Let me put it in very simple terms so your listeners can hear it, okay? Gold was $35 an ounce in 1971 when Richard Nixon took it off the gold standard.
Yeah.
Where is it today?
5, right?
No, it's $1,700.
Oh, wow.
You went from $35 an ounce.
Should have listened to Bill
$1,700.
Devane.
But just
You gotta get that silver.
all right, make it a serious point. I think that's fucking funny. I'm going to laugh at it. Just let you know, your currency's been devalued 98.7% by your politicians over the last 40 years. And he's massively contributed.
When has it become the conservative agenda to care about the poor and lower middle class? I've never thought that was an
He
accurate.
ran on that. He didn't run on that.
I thought you just said he wasn't conservative.
I did 20. Well, he ran as a Republican. He ran as a Republican conservative that was opening up the party to blue collar people. His message. I was on 27 campaign stops with him throughout Middle America. His message was, your wages are in decline. The Rust Belt is rusting further. I'm going to work on a plan, policy, stimulus, other types of things, regulation to regrow these communities. He ran on that.
So if we're looking at an
He's
increased,
done nothing for those people.
but if we're looking at like an increased economy, people are saying that they have the jobs back. Whether or not they're making the money to justify those jobs or the jobs are better is a different question altogether. But if
the data says that they're not.
Yeah.
The data says the person's picked up 2 jobs. He's working at Domino's, delivering pizza, and Lowe's, and he lost his factory job. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics says there's 2 jobs, but the guy's making about 45% less than he was making 5 years ago. That's the facts.
I don't see it.
Okay. It's the data. The data's there.
Here's something I want to talk to you about also about with the Democrats running, and this is every Democrat, re-regulating the energy, our energy procurement. If you want to drill, offshore drilling, pipelines, all this, that is pretty much put us in the driver's seat as far as energy goes. No one in years has even mentioned, oh my God, the price of gas sucks. This is terrible. Haven't heard anyone talk about gas. We're not bending down in front of the Middle East and OPEC anymore because we're self-sufficient with our energy. Do you think all these candidates talking about getting off, let's get rid of coal, let's get rid of fracking, let's get rid of pipelines, re-regulate refineries, you think that helps us at all?
And can I still get raw ether?
Okay. Let me step.
crack.
He needs that. Can't believe the fucking place I just walked into. Okay, it was like a fucking legitimate place. I didn't realize it was like a ether crack house. Okay, but let's go. Let's go back to the. I think it's a very interesting
talk about
question.
it, sure.
So let me just ask you a quick question. You believe that the carbon emissions is creating climate change, or you think that's a hoax?
I lie somewhere in the middle. I believe human beings obviously have an effect on everything around us.
Okay, that's good.
We've done that. But
some
is
of
it
it is-
this existential threat, this imminent problem? That I don't quite believe.
Okay, so let me ask you a different question. If you had a choice of living in Beijing where 85% of the children below the age of 10 have respiratory and asthmatic related issues as a result of the smog in Beijing.
Sure can make a shoe,
Or
though.
you could wave a magic wand and have no emissions and have some kind of carbon-free energy
Right.
delivery system that those people could breathe more clear. What city would you rather live in?
Well, obviously, I would rather live in the city that doesn't have that kind of
Okay,
problem.
so here's all I'm saying to you.
Okay.
We have created our economy for the last 250 or so years, or since 1850, say 170 years, as a carbon-emitting, carbon-based economy.
Yep.
And if we don't, as a group of people, make a transition into something less than that, it doesn't have to be today or tomorrow, but let's say we had a 25 or a 50-year plan, it will have some catastrophic consequences to the world. And again, whether it's affecting the climate or not, it is certainly harder to breathe air that's loaded with smog than clean air,
Obviously.
or harder to drink water that's loaded with contaminants than pure water. So,
Do you think us as a country, we haven't done enough to clean up our energy?
That's interesting. I think we actually have. I
Done
think
an
a lot
amazing
of our
job, yeah.
states have done an amazing job. The city of New York, under Mike Bloomberg, actually was one of the cleanest environmentally best cities in terms of energy use and all that other stuff. But it's a broader question. The broader question is, are our politicians going to stop the left and right nonsense and focus on long-term strategic thinking for the citizens?
That
of the
makes a lot.
population?
Makes
Are they
a
going
lot
to do
of
that or
sense.
not? If
And
they decided,
no. You know why? Because it doesn't have that immediate payoff that they know the voter wants. They know that people want their politicians to go. And how many times we hear this? On my first day in office, they're all talking about what they're doing on that first day, and it's this amazing, huge, changing thing.
Trump
It's like
said that he was going to
shut
balance.
up.
Trump said he was going to balance the budget.
I'm not saying he's not guilty of saying the same
Okay,
thing.
but did he say that? He
with
did. He said he
that.
was going to balance the budget. He
Right,
obviously
right.
didn't balance the budget.
Obviously, you need help from Congress when you're doing that
understand.
too.
I'm not even
which he's not
blaming
getting
him.
any.
Systemically, it would have been impossible. But Clinton set up a system. I don't want to bore everybody with it, but he set up Bush one set up a tax and spend protocol that put guardrails on the Congress. Clinton adhered to those. At the end of his term, you were running a $267 billion budget surplus in the year 2000.
Remember that.
And we were heading for budget surpluses as far as the eye could see. We can fix it if you guys want to fix it.
Had to spend money. 9/11.
Yeah, but if you want to,
Yeah. No, I still think
but if you want to fix it, it can be fixed. And I don't agree. I'm not saying with you, but I don't agree with the general theory that we just need, shoe stomping politicians, instant gratification. I believe if you got one or two clever politicians out there that actually convey to the American people what was really going on and what they could do to fix it over 5, 10, and 20 years, a lot of Americans say, you know what? I'm going to try that. The stuff that we've been doing
Can you
for the
do
last
that with
50
money
years
involved,
sucks.
though? I mean, when you have, like, you were talking about sugar companies, and I'm just asking an honest question. Sugar companies, you have gas companies, you have all these different people that have their own interest putting money into people's pockets. How do you actually create something that's good for a people if it's just somebody else making an instant dollar off of it? Other than bullshitting people and saying we want you to breathe well.
So it's a very good question. But a lot of what's happened in our world in terms of the fragmentation of the media and the social media, you might be able to do it. It may not be impossible. Here's the thing I do know. When you ask
there's a lot of shit on social media. I think it's just
when you ask the average person, would you prefer a 5-year plan that helps you strengthen your wages, reduces the deficit, and makes the United States more globally competitive, or a 2-minute cable news cycle argument? Which one do you prefer?
Most people are going to say the first one, but what they really want is the second one. People love this controversy and conflict and everything. And when I was talking about
I accept that
energy,
they do like the conflict. Trump has definitely capitalized on that.
Right.
There's no question.
When you look at energy, we see two sides. We see one side where it looks like the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, just smoke pouring out of smokestacks. And the other side is this insane new Green Deal. They're both shocking and scary in their own way.
That's what I said. They're mirror images of each other.
Right, on opposite sides.
Born from that monetary policy.
But no one really wants to talk about the reality of you can't just stop using fossil
Everything's
fuel
extremes.
tomorrow.
That's exactly what I'm
all
saying.
extremes.
It's all extremes. Like,
You
where
can't
do you
stop
find
using
the...
the weather's extreme and the politics are extreme.
And you can't use
The
you
news
can't
is extreme.
go
The
to
news is extreme. Well, they're trying to sell eyeballs.
But people don't realize that some of the
You guys are
cleanest
very
energy.
stable geniuses, though. You don't,
Yes,
don't
exactly.
come across as extremists at all.
Most people don't realize nuclear is a very clean energy. It's just been taken off the board in a lot of countries because of a couple of slip-ups. But that's a very clean energy. Wind power And solar power has not. We're not at the point where it's a viable alternative to fossil fuel yet. First of all, how do you ship it? You can't just ship wind power somewhere. Batteries aren't efficient anymore. You can't. You can take a tanker of oil and cruise it over to a whole nother side of the world.
They shipped us a 15-year-old.
Some people down at the nail place.
No,
the other
Greta Thunberg, who had all the answers.
I definitely think that there will be carbon capture technologies over the next 10 years.
We've done amazing things with cleaner coal energy
we
and
should.
cleaner.
You know, the coal's coming out of the electrical plant generator, and it's captured in devices that will protect the earth, make the earth a little safer.
But these are things that Trump did. Deregulation of our energy is a huge thing. I think it made for a lot of jobs. It made us energy independent. And when we see stuff happen in the Middle East, our gas prices don't go to.
I'm not a guy that looks at everything that Trump did and said everything he did sucks. I'm not one of those guys. I've looked through what he's done, but here's what I would say to you: a better leader, somebody that could marry content with style, could be getting way more done than him.
Especially on the Democratic side now. That ticket is looking pretty grim. I don't know. Buttigieg just left.
Let's see.
He's you know what the fun? I've read a funny thing today. It said Buttigieg in 2043, I think it is, or 48, can run for president and still be younger than Biden and Bernie, and Warren.
Well, I think he did an amazing job. It was an amazing.
I think he did a great job.
Amazing feel-good campaign. He gave a hell of a speech last night.
I think he's got a future.
And
I think
he's a moderate. Think about what he said last night. He's getting out of the race to clear the path for that party for a moderate.
I don't think the DNC pounded him.
Homophobia. I think he'd go a lot farther.
And Klobuchar on pulling out, and
we'll get less of that in the future too.
Yeah. And going on to back Biden, like right before Super Tuesday, they pull out, back Biden. Doesn't that sound a little like some pressure from the DNC, perhaps?
Or the kid made a decision, then he embarrassed the rest of them, and good leadership required them to pull out. I haven't seen anything that
I don't know
indicates
why
that
you'd pull out.
Senator
right
Warren. Well, I think you would when you look at the math. The math, I mean, you don't believe in the polls, but I think those guys believe in their polls. Buttigieg had no path, to a plurality of delegates. There was no way to make.
So you don't think there's a thought process there that I can give this to Biden and
yes, no question.
I'll come off looking better in the eyes of the DNC?
He said that last night. He said that he didn't want his ego to potentially create a situation where Bernie Sanders was able to best Joe Biden. Okay, so he came out, and in a little bit of a way, he shamed the others. He got Klobuchar effectively out as a result of that decision. And I haven't seen anything that Senator Warren is out. I don't know if your control room has seen anything. So she's still in.
Yeah, she's still in.
And so you have three moderates going up against the radical. And so, I think that's bad. I think that, if Warren and Biden or Warren and Bloomberg came out, I think you would have one moderate going up against Bernie Sanders, and I think that moderate would roundly beat him.
Would have a better chance.
I think.
Who do you think would make a good president right now?
Well, I think Pete Buttigieg has the right temperament to be president of the United States. He has a level of self-confidence. Mike Bloomberg, in my opinion, knows how to build a team, ran the city very well, and Mike Bloomberg has a lot of self-confidence. You know who has no self-confidence? That's Donald Trump. All of that bluster and all that bombast is related to overcompensation. He doesn't have any self-confidence.
But isn't Bloomberg kind of the same? I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, he's really sort of the billionaire who's just doing it.
He made
by his way in.
But he made $60 billion by building a team. He's employing 20,000 people. And Bloomberg has got a lot of self-confidence, so you're better at being on the radio than me. I'd hire you to be my radio guy. Donald Trump is a very stable genius. He's smarter than all the radio people. He's smarter than all the people analyzing the coronavirus. He's way smarter than all of his generals. He knows more about ISIS than all of his generals do.
And you think by being with
It's all overcompensation for a lot of things going on that are small related to Donald Trump. I'm talking about his brain, Cumia. I'm
I've
talking
not
about his
seen
brain.
his-
Don't get disgusting.
No, I'm not disgusting.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
being
I'm
very
talking
respectful and
about
nice
a
here in
pea
our little debate.
His penis has been brought up a lot.
Of course.
Has it? I didn't bring it
I
up.
remember that.
You
from,
didn't.
from
I
years
didn't mean
ago.
to.
Shit about it. I don't agree about it.
I just can't see anybody on
Stormy
that
said it was
side really
very uninspiring, by the way.
doing anything. I can't see anybody, especially the likes of
Weinstein's as well. Look like a pear, they say.
Biden is just
Disgusting.
scary to watch, man. There was another slip up today where he was trying to quote something from.
But when Trump is at the podium mispronouncing everything that's on the teleprompter, he's not scary to watch.
No, it doesn't come off like it comes
Trump's
off.
at the
There's
podium saying he's chanting "Send her back" in South Carolina when the fiasco started with the 4 congressmen. That's not a scary thing to watch.
One thing scary to be either ignorant, where you miss up or something, to be not have any real sense of decorum and you say something, as opposed to Biden, who I think is saying things because of some kind of a mental issue.
So when
that
Trump
he's
says that he wants to look into the oranges of the situation and he can't get the word out, he's different than Biden saying.
yeah, I
the same
think that's more of a trip up than it is a mental issue.
Well, I think
And
once, honestly.
sometimes he just out of
thing?
ignorance.
You should have been.
One's
you would have been.
narcissism.
You would have fucking lasted 10 more days than me. Sure. As the communications
10
director.
days and 20 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, Jesus Christ, you should have really been the communications.
No, I just mean though, like one is narcissism.
nominate you to be the
and the
communication-
other one is a
You are
guy
so
who.
full of shit.
the
It's
other
like
guy-
fucking unbelievable.
But the one
Ladies
guy
and
is
gentlemen, that's a
narcissism, and the other-
green screen back
Yeah,
there.
oh, this is one.
No, this
photo
is not.
exhibit.
This
Let's put a let's put a
this is
mountain
a
of
great
dog
weather.
shit. Let's put a mountain of dog shit
Oh
behind
my
this guy.
God! Please,
Unbelievable.
No, I think
Scaramucci.
No, I'm just saying that one is narcissism, where the other one is, I honestly think, dementia and not joking around. I mean, one guy's talking about he's having knife fights with fucking Pop Tarts,
Oh, the corn
and the
pop.
other one is
razor fight with corn.
We
pop.
already knew Trump was a narcissist. Did anybody think he wasn't? I mean, when they voted for him, he already had his own show. He already had his giant golden name on buildings for
Here's what I-
25. Nobody. I didn't know anybody
I
didn't
don't
think
think
he
we
was
had
a
a
dick.
misconception.
Here's
of who
what
he was, yeah.
here's what I would say to you. You love the country,
I do actually.
right?
Yes.
And you love the country.
America.
Okay. So, what does it say about the country that this is the personnel that is floating to the top of the political process to be the American president? What does that say to you?
I think it says that we were so fed up with decade upon decade of having these leaders that did nothing but screw us that we said, we're putting the guy in the mailroom in charge. All you guys that run for president and say, I'm qualified on this, fuck you. We're taking this guy and making him president just to show you how badly you all fucked up.
Okay.
I think that's
So
why he got elected.
I definitely think that's part of it.
Part of it.
Okay, but let me say a different thing. You know, a lot of smart people in the radio business and in social media and
Sure,
your businesses. You know, smart people in entertainment and Wall Street and banking, and there's exceptionally talented people that are running very large scale companies. Do you find it alarming that we can't draw from a deeper, wider talent pool than the ones that we've got here? I get how that people get elected.
No, it's good.
And I get the anger.
I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
I like what you're saying because if you look at it, Donald Trump was one of these people that was not in the circle.
Yes.
He wasn't in the club. He
Yes.
came out of nowhere. And I think that's why a lot of people were pissed that he got as far as he did even before he was elected. So, yeah, I think there are plenty of talented people that could probably do a much better job than your professional politicians, but they just will not be allowed in. And someone like Trump could just put his bullhead down and smash through the doors to get in.
Do you think that when the Trump era is over, assuming he doesn't abrogate the Constitution, which
Like Bloomberg did for
Okay.
fucking mayor.
okay,
Thank you.
oh,
For
okay.
years, and then stopped it so no one else could do it.
Okay, so do you? You see how he got all that Bloomberg shit in there? You are fucking great. I'm seriously. I swear to God,
Really-
I'm nominating you to be the 2020 communications director.
I'm
okay?
in.
I hope to God they pick you. You would really. I could just see you in the press conferences and shit.
Oh, it'd be a
And I want you to
blast.
be dressed just
Like
that.
this.
Well, you got to be an
Don't
effort.
need
Like, you look
T-shirts.
like fucking Art Carney and Honeymooners. Okay, that's what I want. I want you to look.
That's what I was
I want you to
going
look
for.
just like that. Okay,
That's
the
what I
Art-
was going for.
Art Carney, look, but I'm
You guys have more in common than you think. Start bringing up honeymooners.
No, please. I know exactly. Please, I know exactly who I am and where I came from. Trust me. Okay, we all
New York
look like
Italians
that.
right now. Talking.
But
Still
let me.
live on Long
But
Island.
let me. Where do you live on Long Island?
I'm in Roslyn.
I'm in Manhasset. I'm right there.
Okay, you're right there. Then yeah.
I got my father over there in
grab a
assisted
bagel.
living over there.
Oh, okay.
I won't say which one on the
Yeah,
air,
yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
yeah. He's doing great. Thank
Right
God.
there
Thank
by
God
the
he's doing well.
Miracle Mile.
Yeah.
Place over
Yes,
there.
I live in. I grew up in Port Washington, but my
yeah.
uncle was Ghost
That's
Motorcycle.
Huntington.
Do you remember Ghost Motorcycle as a kid?
No.
Where did you grow up? In
Huntington.
Roslyn? Oh, you grew up in Huntington. Yeah, we had a motorcycle shop for
was out in the
50
country.
years.
Suffolk County.
Very far up. But no, the question I had for you, which you were going to answer, and I want to really hear your answer because I'm very curious. So, do you think after the Trump era is over in 1 or 5 years? Okay, and by the way, it is his election to lose if you look at the strength of the economy. I see that.
Absolutely.
And I will say this, that there's only one person for sure that can fucking beat him. You know who that is? That's him. He can blow his foot off. He's totally capable of that. But let's just ask this question. After his era is over,
Yeah.
are there going to be room for outsiders in presidential politics?
I'm going to say, depending on if he gets reelected and how that goes and what the American people think. I mean, if you want to know my honest opinion of how he got into office, I do agree with Anthony. People are exceptionally tired of all the bullshit. But I think right now is not quite business as usual. I think that he does have a huge fan base. I think there's a reason that he has a huge fan base. But I also think that people are tired of the fact that we're all being told that everything's okay when it's just nothing but bullshit. I think both sides have done nothing but bullshit us. I think that's what they liked about having him come in. And I think at this point there's a lot of nihilism going on where they just want to watch the world burn, or there's a lot of Christians that just want to do the safe right vote just to make sure that they go to heaven. I think him being in office has to do with a lot of people being fucking morons because we don't care about our education. We don't give a shit about our health care. We don't give a fuck about each other. And truthfully, we only care about the almighty dollar. And so this is the end result of it that we're seeing right now. And I don't think he's necessarily a bad president. That's my opinion. I don't. I like him. I don't like him. It just depends on the day.
Okay.
But
yeah, you can watch one speech,
but I
watch another, and go,
truthfully
"Oh
want,
boy."
but because I love my country,
not
though,
my
I
country.
want
I
him
think he's
to
a piece of
succeed.
shit,
I want him to succeed, though.
Yeah.
I'm not against the president.
Don't get me wrong. He wins re-election.
For money.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
That's
I
my
actually, believe it or not, I actually don't want him to fail. I don't want anybody to fail. And if he wins re-election, I'll certainly want him to succeed in his term. But I do think he's a piece of shit. Okay, and at the end of
I
the
would
day,
too if he said something like that.
At the end of the day, I want him to lose.
I don't think
And I'm going
there's
to be
enough.
working. It's not just that I want him to lose. If I can move the needle one, I'm going to be doing that.
I think as far as outsiders getting into this whole thing, I think even after Trump, even if he wins next term, even if it is a successful term, I think outsiders are still just going to have a real tough time getting in because the way Trump got in was, like I said, he put his horns down and ran through the door.
no
the way he
way,
ran
yeah.
through those 17 Republican
Yeah.
during the primary.
I mean, Jeb Bush was
brutal.
like fitted to be the president.
Yeah. You have to be able to get up there and have no
Well, 30
care.
short seconds on that. What happened there is, and the same mistake could potentially happen for this next round, is politicians are used to comporting themselves in very narrow verbiage. So they
Yep.
walk out of a radio show like this, they didn't offend anybody, mission accomplished.
Absolutely.
Trump's coming in as the orange wrecking ball. And so when he called Bush low energy and he went after Bush's wife, if Bush just walked over to the podium and punched him
him
out,
in the face. It
knocked
might
him
have been
to
a
the
whole
fucking
different
ground,
story.
choked him,
Yeah.
he would have paid a fine, and he would be the president. You see what I'm saying?
I would agree with that,
So,
yes.
so you understand what I'm saying? So
Totally.
what happens is you're low energy, you're lying Ted, you're crooked Hillary. They all responded the way politicians
Marco.
would, was be like this.
Marco.
Ooh. You see what I mean? But I mean, I got fucking great nicknames for Trump. Okay, but I'm not going to deploy him until he starts attacking me again. But I got fucking great.
You got some good ones?
Oh, yeah, great nicknames for him.
You got one,
Just have a
maybe?
notebook next to your
One at the
bed.
bottom of the
Well,
one at the
I mean,
bottom
just
of
like
the
an
list.
example, he's Fidel Adolf Trump. You get the fat shaming in with the fucking dictatorship, right? So he's the notorious FAT, right? Fidel Adolf Trump. I mean, that's an example of a really good nickname for him because you have to understand something. To get under Trump's skin, you got to make fun of his appearance, right? He's making fun of other people's appearances because that's projection from him.
Well, yeah, because
he looks
they've
at
been shitting
himself.
on his hair for 30
Yeah, but he
years.
looks at himself as like he's like
right?
Yeah.
he's literally a fucking human can of Spam that just got opened. You know what I mean? So when he pops out of the fucking can with like orange hair and
Oh,
shit, that's what he
Appearance
really
one-
is.
And I get that. And
But by
it
the
is
way,
the
by
easiest
the way, the
thing.
fact that we're here in presidential politics in the gutter is because of him. But let me fucking tell you something, okay? You got to be able to punch low and hit high. You can't, like Michelle Obama said, go high and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You got to beep Trump's brains in intellectually, which those guys weren't willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have just turned to him and said, okay, let's talk about the policies. You're going to say 3 or 4 things in a loop that don't make any sense, that are somewhat entertaining, but go. Talk about the policy. You can't. And then when he says, oh, well, you're low energy or you're mini Mike or little Anthony, you're like, okay, come on. And then you want to I can make fun of you all day, but let's not do that. Let's really tell the American people what we're going to do to help them.
It is the
Can't do it.
easiest way to
can't do it.
rag on somebody.
But it's also
do it.
drawing
You
more
can't do it. You
attention to
can't
you
do
than
it.
it is of just going through the same bullshit that you usually do, which is just
Yeah.
giving the answers that you think they want to hear. I mean, the lack of honesty in it. Even do you
Well, I
think?
predict
do you think
that's
he's
gonna
at least
change.
True to himself, though. Wouldn't you say that? Like even okay, let's just say
Lying
he.
fucking piece of shit. He
But
lies
if that's
about
who he
everything.
is he true to himself?
He would lie about anything at any place at any time. This is a character issue. He
Okay.
has no character. He has absolutely no.
Most presidents
virtue.
are full of shit when it comes to that. They're just better at covering it up, I think.
Maybe so, but whatever you want to say about Richard Nixon, when they put the gun to him, he didn't triple up like Trump did. He left. Okay, I mean, there's some level of like understand. And by the way,
JFK also left
By the way,
with the
by the
gun.
way,
that's true.
Senator Dole said something 15 years ago. It was very apropos. They would never let Nixon get away with what he did because they had their buddies die for that freedom. If you're sitting in a foxhole somewhere in Europe and you turn to your friend to have a smoke and his face is in a pool of blood, and now you lost the guy forever, and now you're in the Congress and people are breaking the law and disavowing the Constitution, like, hey, my buddy died for this Constitution. I'm not letting you do that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a totally different era that we're in now.
But I don't see everything I watched as far as the impeachment hearings went and then the trial and everything. I just didn't see constitutionally how he could be impeached. I thought that was a load of shit on the
Okay.
part of Schiff and Schumer. And I
Look,
just
he-
didn't
look, he-
see legally.
I took myself off the air for 2 months. He definitely broke the law.
You really think he
100%.
broke the law?
He 100% broke the law. Should he have been impeached over it? He probably should have been censured. Okay, not impeached over it, but he 100% broke the law. Just go with what the GOA said. Okay, he was holding back the aid, and also the
There were so
problem
many
you're talking
other-
about with the witnesses. He didn't let Mulvaney, Pompeo, Giuliani speak. Not one of them had an opportunity to go before a microphone.
Again, what was the
Bolton?
relevance?
What about Bolton?
What's the relevance of
about Bolton?
Giuliani's testimony? If
Giuliani was running a shadow State Department.
testify too?
No problem.
Shouldn't
No problem. What's
isn't
wrong with
what
that?
Biden did
Call
though the same thing.
Hunter, Joe.
Call the witnesses. Call Joe Biden. Call his son.
You don't think?
Call the witnesses.
Let me just get. You don't think that holding back that money for the defense spending for the Ukraine could have had anything else to do with anything except he wanted to trade off an investigation or at least announcement of an investigation on Joe Biden?
You
It couldn't have been a way where he said, "I need to know if this is a legit new government in here before I give him money." Is that possible? Because if it's possible, then you can't just
And you
say this is why I think he
it wasn't a fair trial. You had 7 tertiary witnesses. I'll see to you that a lot of those witnesses, didn't have the primary source information, Fiona Hill or Lieutenant
it was
Van
all
Dam.
secondhand bullshit on
but
how would you feel if the president did this?
You didn't call you didn't call the primary witnesses.
Why didn't they subpoena them?
Let me say something in defense of the president.
Bolton wasn't even subpoenaed by Congress. They could have subpoenaed him.
Let me say something in defense of the president, okay?
Ooh, hold on, kids. Here it comes.
Okay, no, the court, one of the appellate courts ruled today that he had the right to suppress them for executive privilege.
Right.
Okay, so that's a very big issue. That's going to be a very big issue going forward.
It's always been a sticky
about
wicket.
presidential power.
Yeah, as far as the president.
But I'll stipulate, I'm willing to agree with you. What happened. They were never going to let him out of office. The Republicans, he has those guys.
No, he wasn't getting thrown
totally,
out of office.
He's got those guys.
I don't even
totally,
think there was impeachment.
Got those guys totally intimidated. That's all fine. Okay. But as a reflection of the country and what he has done to hard and soft power around the world, the guy sucks.
Then you're looking at every president being impeached at some point during this. Because I'll tell you, even the articles made no sense. We heard all kinds of things about what the articles were going to be, and then it turns out to be abuse of power and contempt of Congress. Where's quid pro quo? Where's the bribery? They just kept changing everything and making it more and more like you're reaching to try to get this guy out of office for nothing but political
When the
means.
show's over, do you bring Vaseline out for the guests? I'm just asking. Is there like a goodie bag on the way out? I know there's no food in here, but I was just wondering.
We do lube them up.
This is a fucking rough show, man.
Come on, Anthony. Yeah, I've seen you before. You can handle yourself
I
just
got a
fine.
very thin skin. I'm
Just
a little
fine.
shy and introverted, and
All good.
I can't take pain.
I want to thank you for coming in, man.
I've enjoyed it. I didn't even get an introduction. You didn't say nothing.
Oh no, he did. You were on the.
What do you
Yeah,
got?
he did.
that-
Yeah, honestly, he did.
What do you got? That
No. I'm totally fine. We just started talking about John Lennon, and I'm like, wait a minute, we might be on the air at this
We
moment.
do go into weird directions here, but
Yeah, we are all over.
the Twitter, Scaramucci, you got the Scaramucci.
Scaramucci, that'd be great. Yeah.
And Instagram, that's good.
At Scaramucci.
Founder of Skybridge,
Look at my-
global alternative investment firm specializing in fund of hedge fund
Yeah, you don't
products.
have to read all that. No, I was
Custom
just
sim-
laughing. Just give me the Vaseline on the way out. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Put it in the microwave, please.
Warm
Okay,
it
this
up a
guy's been
little.
so rough on me. All right, I appreciate it.
man. Pleasure.
Very nice to meet you.
Always cool.
Have a good one.
I love him.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it.
Take it easy, bro.
I'm gonna go pee.
See you at the Yankee game.